I'm guessing 23.7% of listeners listen all the way to the end. So you're a surprise.
Really? You think so? No, I don't.
You think it's more or
Do you
less?
really? I think it's more. I think people, when they get locked into a podcast, I think they generally don't really jump around. I think they're willing to listen to things they don't even give a crap about just because they're doing whatever it is they're doing with a podcast, right?
I don't know.
In their car or doing dishes or vacuuming or something. I mean, a buddy of mine at work just said he actually started listening to one of my podcasts only because another one, it just ran into it. And then he's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm listening to Eric's podcast.
Hey, I like this.
It's nice.
So I recently, just a few days ago, quit my effing job.
Congratulations, man.
Thanks.
That is so awesome. Living the dream.
That's the response I'm getting right now. No, actually, I'm totally relieved and jazzed, and it wasn't totally planned, but I was feeling it for a long time that this was going to have to happen. So right now, I'm officially a full-time podcaster.
Congratulations. Really, that
Thank
is
you.
so awesome. And I mean, and everybody, that is exactly, I mean, I'm not joking when I say living the dream. I think everybody dreams of being able to quit their day job and do whatever it is, whatever your avocation is, right? What they say, make your avocation your vocation. That thing that you love. And you, sir, I know, love podcasts.
I do.
And you do it well.
Thank you.
And now you're really giving it a go. So that's fantastic. And happy to be on board with you on this journey, because I couldn't do it. Because I mean, you got balls of steel, because I couldn't do it, man.
Well, I am going to give it all I've got,
yeah.
and I'm giving myself a year to make it work. And so wish me luck, everybody. And I'm glad to have all of you guys listening, and I'm excited to be doing this. And I feel extremely relieved and excited to put everything I have into this. So thanks, man. I appreciate your support.
And always remember, people, there's always Patreon.
I was going to say,
I'm sure we'll talk about it at some
might be a good
point.
time, to remind you that we are Patreon supported. There's going to be more news on that to come. There's going to be some Patreon news, but I just wanted to mention that the Facebook group is turning out to be even better than I hoped it would be. That you get to be a part of when you're on Patreon. And one example is, without any prompting from me or Karen, the Facebook group has started doing a live chat thread for each episode, so they can go in and just make comments to each other. So it's really fun. They're having a lot of fun.
I want to join in on that, but it's East Coast time. I can't join in on that.
Oh, we need to start up a West Coast time.
We've got to do a West Coast one, yeah.
So that's patreon.com/Jason and Karen. Now, without any further ado, let's get into the reason why we're actually here.
Attention, shoppers. Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, it's Deadcast Top 5. It's our top 5 highlights for Season 7, Episode 14, The Other Side. What did you think of the episode?
Well, this has been an interesting season as far as having all of these very specific focused episodes. A couple weeks ago, I think I made it very clear how I felt about the Rosita-Sasha storyline. I was really not very happy with it, specifically Rosita. Mm-hmm. There were elements to this episode I really, really liked, and I'll get into that with my top 5. Overall, I'd say maybe a 3.2 bags of intestines. I don't know, whatever you want to say for that. Kind of a middling. I would not call this a bad episode, but I wasn't really super jazzed about it. Like last week, I got to say, I loved last week a lot. The one that I haven't been on this in the last few weeks, I really, really liked. This one, not so much.
I was jealous that you guys got to do the Eugene one. I thought that was really interesting.
That was a pretty cool one. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Well, on first watch, I think I felt a little bit more like you did. I liked the episode, but I thought, this is just a good, solid episode of The Walking Dead. It's not one of my very favorites, but it's not, like you said, by no means a bad episode. On second watch, I liked it more. I liked it even more. And I feel like it's definitely clearing the decks. It's a clearing the decks episode for this upcoming action.
This is definitely setting up a lot of pieces for, I think, what's going to come up. And there are a few things where I'm like, okay, I'm seeing this or I'm seeing that, and so I like that. It brings a few more questions, and I didn't watch it a second time, so perhaps that would have steered me. And I have noticed that this season, yeah, second rewatch is really a good idea.
Yeah, I like almost every episode better the second time. Not only setting up pieces, but also kind of wrapping up a few things, and and done in a way that I thought was interesting and enjoyable. And the episode had a nice flow to it. There were some really tense moments. There were some really good character moments. And so, yeah, we'll get into it. Let's get going.
Character moments for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So what is your number 5?
Oh, okay. My number 5. This, I tended lately, I've been going in like thematic sort of things with mine. And this one, as you just said, is a very character-driven episode. And each of mine are going to focus pretty much on a character or a relationship. But my number 5, Eugene. Is he a traitor? Is he a coward? Or is he a man with a plan? I still don't think we know really what's going on with Eugene. I mean, I think last night, seeing this episode, it's like, holy shit, did he really go full Negan? Is he completely now like, I've got comfort here. I've got a great job. They respect me. They let me use the walkie-talkie and call myself doctor.
Order people around.
Buying into the ruse. Or was order people around? I think he loves that, right? Or is he saying, no, I'm not going to go with you because if I go with you, they're going to start hunting me. They're gonna know where I am, and it's gonna be bad for everybody. Is that what he was trying to say?
Yeah, because he says you're either in or you're out, and that could mean if I leave, then I'm on the outs with them, and that's not going to do anybody any good.
Which could be part of the coward aspect of it,
but it's also like right now he's in a position potentially to do some real harm, and if he leaves, then he loses that opportunity.
Very true, because he's still carrying Gremlin Gunk in his jacket pocket. He's still carrying that thing around with him. I am convinced that's where he has the death pills hidden in Gremlin Gunk.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. You know what? Well, before you started talking, I thought there was a pretty damn good chance that Eugene is a total coward and he's siding with Negan. But those pills have to come back at some point.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that means there's a damn good chance he's actually not a turncoat.
That's when Karen and I talked about Eugene in that episode, we did talk about the fact that, is this the long con? Is he really doing? And so they made it seem like he's taking that traitorous route and just being like, oh no, and also I have to say, the metal zombies, now we really did see them. They look pretty badass. They were cool looking.
I was glad to see those. And he's like shaking them to just test them out. And stuff.
Yeah. It's a stupid idea. I mean, they can't go anywhere. They're just going out. It's,
It's all about the intimidation factor.
It's all about the intimidation. It's like, oh my God, they got melted metal zombies attached to a chain link fence. That's horrible.
Hardcore.
And I also loved his radio chatter. Dr. Eugene. I'm just like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah, it's like oh, this is no fair. Now the saviors get the pleasure of hearing his patter.
I'm sure they eat it up. So that's my number 5, Eugene. Nice.
Well, that was one of mine too, so I'll just go right to it. So I actually really would love for him to be a turncoat, and I know a lot of listeners are like, you're a cold-hearted jerk. No. But I just think that, like, for example, I realize not everyone thinks about this show from the perspective of the creators and the writers, but I tend to for some reason. And I'm like, okay, if I was a writer and I wanted to pick one of the characters just to make a good story, all right, which one of the characters would actually probably be a turncoat? And I'm like, yeah, I think Eugene would be one of the ones that would be likely, because we've seen him the way he attached himself to Abraham.
And, same way.
Yeah. And he brought his smarts and his bullshitting skills, and Abraham was the brawn, and so similar here. And we've seen that he's a coward and everything. So I just think it's cool when not everyone is a hero all the time, that some characters can be flawed. And if you just have everyone act like, even Rosita, Rosita's been really bitchy lately, and it's annoying a lot of people, and I can see why.
Yeah.
But I think a tendency with Walking Dead fans is, okay, if a character's not likable, then they should just die. And I'm like, no, we need to have some unlikable characters too. Not everyone has to be on their best behavior all the time and be a hero. I find TV more interesting when people are flawed, and sometimes deeply flawed. And I guess with Rosita, it's not only that she's been flawed lately, but it's not fun to watch. So I get that.
No, but I think every TV show does need to have somebody that you really that is just driving you crazy. I think that does help propel things. And this will get into some of my other top fives, but I think it's actually kind of important that you have somebody that just drives you nuts. She is making very bad decisions. They are obvious. I think we're just pissed off with Rosita for being such a pain in the ass. And you can sit here and go on and on about, good God, look at how many other people have lost so much more than you. And you're going on about Abraham, but I don't know, maybe that's unfair. Oh, okay, I'm jumping all over the Rosita thing.
But yeah, I mean, I think, it's true. People have lost more than her, and they're taking it better. But not everyone handles things the same
Deals
way.
with it the same.
Yeah, and if I had my lover, who I loved very much, beaten to death with a baseball bat, I might get pissed off about it. I probably wouldn't act like her, but I give her a lot of leeway, because that's a pretty traumatic thing to have happen, even if other people around you have had it worse. But when she starts getting angry to the point of doing stupid things that could endanger people's lives, then it's like, okay, that's enough.
Well, and I think there's been this pattern now, right? So the whole thing with Father Gabriel, and then she goes and takes that shot, which then gets Olivia killed.
Right.
And then she goes and gets mad at Father Gabriel. Okay, obviously we're dealing with somebody with a buttload of projection going on, who's just angry. She's just lashing out. Like, look, okay, I get it. Now she went on a suicide mission that's going to get somebody else killed. Again, I think viewers are just a little frustrated. It's like that character you just want to slap. You just want to slap him upside the head. Dude. Like, come on, knock it off. You're being a dumbass. But you can't do it. It's on TV.
I know. I mean, I tried, but I just ended up scratching my TV. But I wanted to say I wrote down some of Eugene's lines. He says, "This is per Negan, who I also am, even if it takes all night to procure them. So I need able-bodied persons out there in the surrounding block to build and snooping and snatching stat. Negan will be indisposed in the boudoir. So in the meantime, any questions should be directed to yours truly, Dr. Eugene Porter, Chief Engineer, also known as Negan, who I am."
And that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. John. No, I was just gonna say you start getting into the whole thou doth protest too much, where it's like right. Okay, he's saying that a little bit too much, where you're like, come on, now you're just I don't know, a little too on the nose,
laying it on too thick.
Laying it on too thick.
That little bit there, he's saying he needs walkers because they're expanding this whole walkers around the fence to keep people out. And so he's telling people to go around and search the buildings, surrounding buildings for walkers. That's what caused Sasha to decide, okay, we actually have to go in now because they're going to come search these buildings. I didn't catch that on first viewing. So.
Oh, I didn't get that either, because I was a little frustrated. Like, really? You miss one opportunity and you bail from this great spot?
And it wasn't because they missed it. It was because they knew that. I mean, maybe they could have just like hidden somewhere where they didn't think anybody was going to look for walkers, but they decided, okay, they're coming around, so we have to go in now.
Well, and Rosita, I think, was just looking for any opportunity. She's like, I just want to get in there. I want to get in there. Screw you and your big fancy gun. I want to get in there,
I mean, yeah. So I dug that argument that they had about whether it was better to go in or fire. But to me, it seems like a no-brainer that you would want to keep your distance when you're just two people and
would think,
especially with a sharpshooter.
Yeah. Yeah. And Rosita kept going on. We'll get caught anyway, so we can't do. It's like, well, maybe not. You do it right.
Yeah.
You might not get caught.
If you charge in there, she's like, I'm not going to get caught. Well, why not? I mean, did she have some ninja boyfriend that taught her to hide in the shadows or something?
All right, so this is look. Bottom line, my number 4 is actually Rosita and Sasha sort of burying the hatchet. No, we're already on it. So, sort of burying the hatchet. You know, this was one aspect of this episode I did really enjoy in terms of finally getting a little break in this stare down of just cold. You know, and I like the way Sasha, you know, after she said, you either talk to me about the mission or don't talk to me at all, or she comes back like, all right, bitch, let's talk about the mission. And she lays it all out. And I love the way she did that, that it just seemed like fine sort of a thing. And I think that really helped break the ice where it's like, okay, I'll go to where you want me to go with this discussion. Meet me halfway at some point, you know, and I think she did. And
they were a good team. Their movements, even as they were arguing, they quickly dispatch a couple of zombies. And I really liked how their whole sequence was paced and filmed. They were just working really well together, even as they were at odds.
Well, and they're two badass women. And I really wish that they would stop being so stereotypically lame. You know, it's like, come on, just work together. You guys are both badasses. You can see eye to eye. Yeah, you guys slept with the same dude. That happens, you know, especially in a smaller pool. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I love they did bring to attention the necklace.
Yeah.
That came up.
It needed to come up. I mean, they're
come up. I thought that
they're
was great.
over it now, don't you think? I mean, Sasha said, no matter how it all goes down, I've got your back. Rosie said, I've got yours. I feel like this is all water under the bridge.
Yeah. So like I said, burying the hatchet, sort of. I hope it is. I mean, I think, unfortunately, when there's resolution on The Walking Dead, that usually means there's going to be a fresh grave. Right. So, we'll see.
Yeah. I would, not take on any bets on both of them surviving the season.
No. I think one will survive, one will die.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
My number 4, preparation for war. So in recent weeks, we've seen all the ducks line up for everybody being on board for this war against Negan. Rick and crew, the Hilltoppers want to fight Ezekiel now, even Carol and Morgan, everybody. And so this is the episode where the fighting actually began. It really wasn't until the last few seconds, but it was gearing up to it.
Yeah, I guess you're right. This really was kind of the first shot of the war, wasn't it? Right, as Sasha takes out the savior next to Eugene.
Yeah, the first shot is Sasha and Rosita, and they want to sacrifice themselves. At least that's what I was thinking. They wanted to sacrifice themselves so there wouldn't have to be a big war costing lots of lives. But then Sasha said to Jesus, you know, I need you to stay here for what is going to happen because of this. So that lets me know that she knows that even though they're doing this, there's probably going to be more fighting that needs to happen.
Or just they might fail. Yeah. I don't think, especially at that point, I don't think she had much faith in Rosita's plan.
You don't think so? You think?
I don't think anybody has any faith in Rosita's plan.
I don't think she would have done it if she didn't think they had a chance. She seemed pretty gung-ho about it.
Maybe. She's also one of the characters that's been very suicidal over the course of this series.
Yeah. But I
think she's been out of it. She's been out of it, but
she's ready to lay down her life, but I think she feels like she's got a good shot at it, literally.
Well, I think she did just lay down her life and
yeah, exactly. Well, I just wanted to mention this is sort of part of this whole preparation for war. The whole 5-minute intro of no talking, I thought was pretty great and effective. And
that's right. God, I really liked.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
I think Walking Dead does really well a lot of the time when there's no dialogue, and that's not a slight on the dialogue, but it's just good to see people doing things without any need for words sometimes.
I forgot all about that fantastic intro with all of the training montages.
So we've got Hilltoppers forging weapons out of metal. We've got
Earl Sutton making those little tridents. That's pretty awesome. Wait, do we know his name's Earl yet?
I don't know. I was thinking that might be a comic book. It's totally fine, but that's pretty cool. The knife throwing practice with, I think, Enid and Maggie. Sasha sharpening a knife. Then we get a little reprieve with Maggie and Enid looking at the ultrasound, which was sweet, and smiling and just reminding us what we're all fighting for. Then
I love the juxtaposition. Between blacksmithing.
Yeah.
Between blacksmithing and a sonogram. The same community.
Right.
Loved it. Sorry, that's
it's
all.
Forging. They're both forging. Then there's Sasha drawing up plans. Then there's Maggie making a list of materials and items needed for battle. One of the items says horses ? And Enid's giving her coffee and snacks. There's Sasha training everyone in knife fighting, which is interesting because I don't know how. It seems like with knife fighting you might have different tactics against real people than zombies, but maybe not. But it reminded me of when Maggie knifed that one Riot Gear zombie back in the prison, got under the helmet with it.
Yeah.
She was real proud of herself. And I was thinking about that. And then later she says, what we really need is Riot Gear. So that came back. But anyway, then there's Sasha at Abraham's grave. And then there's Jesus giving the sanctuary layout to Sasha. It says front of factory walkers on it. Then there's Daryl sharpening his knife with his head low, and Maggie walks up and put her hand on his shoulder, but he doesn't respond.
That scene.
Yeah.
Love
I think she gave him something. I'm not sure, like coffee or something.
A dinner. I think she gave him like a dinner. Yeah.
Then there's Sasha making like a cairn or something at Abraham's grave. There's Hilltoppers gathering around. Gregory sees it outside the window, gets stressed out, and takes a drink. And then Rosita comes through the gate and sees Sasha. And I was a little confused by all this because I thought that Rosita and Sasha had already agreed to go get Negan, and why are they not leaving? But it turns out this was all the build up to that, because Rosita comes through and they say hi, and then they're ready to go.
Well, they're just doing their prep. I mean, she needed to get some ammo. I like that scene as well. Where, that was cool. But I need to, one person you kept bringing up, and I have to, I don't know what it is about this character, but I love her so, and that's Enid. I was getting so pissed when people kept saying she's a wolf spy. Everybody's been trying to find some way to hate on Enid.
I know.
I have always, since the moment we saw, I don't know what it is. Her face, something about Enid, I just love. And Caitlin Nakin, the girl who plays her, I think is such a sweet. I met her at the last Walker Stalker Con I was at, which is Atlanta. 2016? No, 2015. Hearing her play Radiohead's "Creep" on the ukulele and getting a chance to chat with her and sing it. She's absolutely an amazing singer, amazing ukulele player. Just a lovely smile. She was in Too Many Cooks, which I think is one of the strangest things ever. Love this girl. And every time I see her on the show, it makes me happy. I love that entire interaction where she meets the grammar Nazi who is giving her a hard time about, contracting vegetables to veggies.
Yeah. That was a great scene.
Was just hilarious.
He's like,
it was.
Stop. It's vegetables. We say vegetables.
we have the time. I loved that.
I like that because it looked like it was going to be a goofy scene, but then he really threatened her, and that sort of built him up as a threat right before he almost discovers Daryl and Maggie.
Maggie and Daryl.
I like her too, and I think it's been pretty funny that people have been trying to paint her as a spy, but I have a feeling, lately she's been a real hero a few times, and I think maybe people are coming around to like her even more.
She brought the Hilltop together for Maggie.
Yeah.
She really made that happen, and I love seeing her genuinely caring for Maggie, as almost like they have their roles reversed. It's like Maggie isn't so much taking care of Enid. Enid is so independent and strong. She's helping to take care of Maggie, and she's grooming Maggie as a leader. And I think in many ways, Maggie is grooming Enid as a leader. So it's this, I don't know. I like seeing, women doing their shit, and Enid's part of that. And I think she is absolutely a strong character in this show that has gotten like nowhere near enough love and affection. But here's the Enid. Yay. Caitlin Nakin.
Raise a glass. Clink.
She's too young to drink it, but I'll go ahead.
and thinking about how she started off as really sullen and, you know, not talking at all, and just so, you know, distraught and depressed. And now she's got something to drive her. I think she really looks up to Maggie, and she's totally on board and doing as much as she can to help out.
Yeah, and she's had a great arc. I mean, her relationship with Ron, right, way back when in the early Alexandria, her relationship with Carl, her relationship with Glenn. You know, she's really touched a lot of people within Maggie's sphere as well, and of course with Maggie. And it's just been, I think, God, I think back to her and Carl in the hollowed out tree together. You know, I'm
that was a sucker great scene.
Like, it was. I'm a sucker for young love. I really, really am, and I think the two of them do have a certain chemistry between the two of them that I think works very well. I think they are adorable. I think his hair is a little nicer than hers, but other than that, I'm kidding.
No, that's actually great because it helps make them not so stereotypical, you know?
Yeah, and as you just pointed out, she moved out of the brooding into somebody who's smiling more, and she's more in control. And she's, you know, this is a girl who witnessed the death of her parents and has moved on, gone from JSS to where she is now.
So is she a spy, though? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, shit. Sorry, I just peeked out my mic on that one. It'll be a big spike. Sorry.
All right. Where are we? I think it's your turn.
Okay. My number 3. Gregory. Boy, we are really going in all tangents on this one, aren't we?
Well, this episode had a lot of different things going on.
Yeah, and they all kind of touch each other in one way or another. Gregory. That is my number 3. I love to hate this fucker. He is...
Me too.
Such a slimy, weaselly... Oh, you just want to take a shower after you watch him do his thing. But what's his name? Xander Berkeley, I believe, right? Did you interview him during Walker Stalker?
I did.
London?
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
He came off a little bit like his character, just a little. It was really funny. And when I asked, it was him and Tom Payne. And when you know, I asked Thomas Payne, what's it like working with Xander? And he goes, what's it like? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, it's fine. I was like, oh shit.
Oh man.
That was all on stage, public, but he was very good too. I mean, he's a long-time veteran actor, and he's got mad skills, and it was really fascinating to hear him talk.
And look, bottom line is the villain is always more interesting than the hero in almost every story, and he is playing that so wonderfully. I know you were one of the few podcasters, and I give you absolute credit for this because I loved it as well. The rhetorical line I thought was hilarious.
Rhetorical.
I liked him.
Okay.
There it is. He brings a humor and a lightness to somebody that you just want to punch. I mean, he's just. There are some people who have punchable faces. You know, Shia LaBeouf. The kid who played Joffrey, Jack Gleason, and this guy, you just want to punch him. And oh god, that whole, you know, the whole scene between him and Simon. Oh god, it was so good. It was really
interesting because they're both kind of assholes, and so it's a scene with just two total assholes, and I almost felt like they were connecting on the level of their assholishness a little bit. Like I almost believed it when Simon said, "Oh yeah, come back. We'll do some, you know, drink some tequila." I almost believed he was excited to get a visit from Gregory. I mean, I don't know, because Simon,
no.
Simon though, he comes off excited, but he also, with that intensity in his eye, you don't know if he's really. He may just kill you too, you know.
Absolutely. And I think that's another amazing character, Stephen Ogg. Now, I didn't play GTA, so I don't know his character in GTA. This really, The Walking Dead last season was the first time I'd ever seen this guy. But immediately, I liked his face. As he said in this episode, I have a very expressive face. Fuck, he's right. He really does. There's something so fascinating about this guy. And he has a way of being menacing, yet at the same time he knows how to find the humor in his performance, so that that guy's a treat to watch on screen. I could watch that face all day long. I think and I love that it was such a meta moment where he said, people have told me I have a very expressive face, when he's going on with the doctor. Possibly one of my favorite little scenes that I've ever seen on this show.
Mm-hmm. And that was very meta because that he gets told that a lot as an actor, so they just built it right into the script.
He has to. I mean, the guy's amazing. So to see him, but I feel like there's a certain the difference in assholery, as you put it, between or assholishness between
Simon and Gregory.
Between Simon and Gregory. One I feel is a little more honest in their assholery. Simon is a little more
straightforward,
a little more honest, a little more straightforward, whereas Gregory's that weaselly sort. So you can almost respect Simon's dickishness a lot more than you can Gregory's.
I mean, I don't know if I would say straightforward though, because Simon, he wants to keep you off balance. Like, I don't even know if I believe that thing about him not liking gin anymore. I think he's just
an asshole.
Fucking with you. But the thing is that Gregory's is done out of cowardice. That's another difference, and Simon...
Sniveling little weed.
Yeah.
And that whole thing between the gin, which we saw earlier, he was drinking the gin, and then, of course, his switch to tequila by the end of the episode. Because, I mean, what a kiss ass. What a gross... Blech. I hate Gregory, which makes me love the character, which is why he's my number 3.
I liked when Simon says he's there to get someone. Gregory's like, so who is it? And he goes, well, get your pointy finger up and I'll tells you. And then, or when he was like, what was it? Cardamom gelato. I can't say it like him.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. And then that whole thing with bringing in the crate. I mean, okay, what did you think was in that crate?
I wasn't even thinking about it.
Oh, I thought it was Dr. Carson. I thought it was the charred corpse of Dr. Carson. I thought he was going to say something like something to the effect of, look, I'm not going to leave you without a doctor. Here's the other Dr. Carson.
I'm glad it wasn't that.
That would have been a little gross, a little grim. Yeah. The aspirin was another. It was a good little jab.
I mean, I almost thought, wow, that's a lot of aspirin. That's awesome. But, it's no substitute for a doctor, obviously. But I did, I find myself in the position of someone dealing with the saviors where just the way Negan wants, like, I thought, oh, well, that's pretty nice that they brought something. And when Rick, Negan was going to force Rick to cut Carl's arm off, and then he didn't make him do it. I felt like, oh, thank you, man. Thank you for not making me do that. That's what they want, They want you to be, appreciative that they didn't do as bad as they could, I guess.
You brought up that scene. Do you know what the first thing that popped into my head was? The whole, Rick having to cut off Carl's arm. All I could think about was the giant snot bubble that came out of Rick's nose.
I know. That's
seriously. I'm still it's been how long since that episode? That's the first
you see
thing
something
that
like that, and it's like the level of acting you feel like has gone up a notch. It's
awesome.
Silly.
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. I think it's phenomenal. I mean, it distracted me, but it was like, oh my god, dude, you're really,
he's fucked up.
Yeah, you're getting into this. This is good. No, I'm not knocking it, but seriously, it's in my head. That snot bubble. I know,
absolutely. That scene, it had me more on edge than anything else in that episode.
Oh no, me too. That one, I did not like that at all. No, I'm like thinking, oh my god, one eye, one arm, this poor fucking kid.
When, so we had that panel with Andrew Lincoln in London, and Chandler Riggs was a surprise guest. He came out halfway. And,
really?
I forget if I said this on the podcast, but I was like, I said to Andrew Lincoln after Chandler sat down, I'm like, we really thought it would be good to have Chandler up here because we want you to cut his arm off right now.
No, I don't think you mentioned that.
And he's got a scared look on his face. Okay. But anyways, my turn. Number 3. So this episode had a lot of clearing the air between people. To people getting clean with each other, getting their withholds out of the way, getting out in the open, anything that they were withholding that's creating a barrier. Doing that can make it easier to be around someone and work with them and be aligned and, just be supportive of each other. So The first example is Maggie and Daryl. I really love that scene. Maggie said, "Would you look at me?" And Daryl couldn't say anything but "I'm sorry" as soon as he caught her eye, and he'd been avoiding it, and he may have continued to avoid eye contact forever, but she called him out and he said he was sorry. And I really feel like that needed to happen for them to get clear with each other. And it was a beautiful scene, and she forgave him. And and I thought, when Daryl first punched that guy, and then it was Negan, punched Negan, and then he killed Glenn, I thought, well, this is going to there's going to be a reckoning for this between Daryl and Maggie. And they found a way to do it that was really interesting. They're forced together into this pantry, and there was a tense scene of them almost being discovered. And then they had this really touching scene, and it made me almost cry, and then it was over, and now we're done with that. So I just thought it was a beautiful way to resolve that whole thing.
I adored that scene. I really did. And it's no secret that I'm not a fan of Daryl in any way, shape, or form. And lately I've almost been kind of sad that his character has been so minimized in the show, and that's kind of bummed me out. This scene, kind of redeemed Norman Reedus for me in a big way.
He was great.
He was so well acted.
So vulnerable.
He really was.
Yeah.
It was. It was a very vulnerable performance. But also, Maggie is really displaying the real traits of a hell of a leader. And throughout this entire series, we've seen so many different examples of leadership, going all the way back to the beginning. Shane versus Rick versus the governor, different styles of leadership. Mm-hmm. And Maggie almost to me feels like the idealized version of Rick. Like,
interesting. Yeah.
If Rick
she hasn't had a chance to prove herself yet, but she's in that direction right now, right?
Well, she seems like she's been going in that direction, and she seems to be handling it with more compassion, less hallucinations. And
she has had a chance to prove herself somewhat, because like the time she gathered everyone and got that big tractor and ran over all the zombies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There, or even what she did in Alexandria when she's worked with Deanna back in, so I think they've done a very good job.
I take that back.
Dealt with Gregory. I think they've done a good job of building Maggie up to being this leader, and to the point where even, again, Rick entrusted Maggie to be the one to kind of parlay with Gregory, because he knew that if he went in there, he was going to kill him. So she is the more level-headed version of Rick in terms of leadership style. And seeing her deal with Daryl, when we first saw him, when he put his head down, he was looking all sad, and she goes out and brings him dinner. That had to be hard for her. I mean, it's the giant elephant in the room that he is, whatever she says, he is still responsible in some ways for Glenn's death. And she knows he feels guilty about it. She obviously sees he has prostrated himself in so many different ways it's not even funny. I think she sees that he's already suffering so much. She knows about what he went through at the hands of the Saviors, and that he has suffered under the Saviors as well, in the same way that she has, except she lost Glenn.
She knows he has a good heart, and that his heart was in the right place.
Yeah,
and still, I don't think that I would be able to complete. She really seems clear with it. She seems to be honestly having, and I don't think I could be that completely forgiving of someone, even though if I knew it wasn't their fault. But the interesting thing was, right after Daryl almost knifed this guy who was coming down into the pantry, she said, "You were going to kill him." And then later she said, "I wanted to kill that guy too. I wanted to string them all up and watch them die, but we have to win. Help me win." And basically she's saying, you need to calm down and think and not act so rashly. So even in her forgiveness, I think at least it seemed to me, she was sort of rebuking him for the way he acted with Negan that got Glenn killed and flying off the handle, but in a really gentle, supportive way.
Absolutely. I mean, look, all that points to the fact she's going to be a fucking great mom.
Right.
Seriously, it really does. I mean, and that is
Yeah.
being a great leader in so many different ways.
Absolutely.
I thought she was fantastic. So I got look, I'll hand it to Lauren Cohen. There were some seasons earlier on where I thought, oh God, is she really? I don't know.
Is
if
she
she's the best.
capable of playing this? Because you knew how it was going to play out later.
Who knew how it was going to be going in?
Yeah,
But
me too.
I'm happy to see that. I think her acting and who she has become as a character has really, really gelled very, very well. And I think the death of Glenn is the same way in the comic. There may be another thing that happened that really gelled her character as well, but this I think really helps solidify her as the true leader that she is becoming, and I love it, and I love that it's actually being recognized within the show in terms of how Enid's treating her, how the people of Hilltop,
Jesus, yeah.
and Jesus, and also Gregory making his little shady deal with Simon, right? About, well, people might be trying to blah blah blah. Even he recognizes it, and the show is. So I think that's solid and good.
Yeah, that was a little weird. Like, why not? Gregory sort of hints, "Hey, I'm afraid someone might be trying to take over." Then he said, "Well, I don't know who, but you never know." But you'd think Simon might want to get a little more information about that right on the spot. So I didn't quite understand why invite him to Sanctuary, and also what was on the little piece of paper that he handed him, like a little quick map to Sanctuary, or
I think it was just like a code word or something.
okay,
maybe.
but how does he know? He said, "I don't
Say
know how
that
to
or-
find you." I
Yeah, I
guess
don't
maybe
know.
he does know how to get there now. I don't know.
I don't know. But that whole thing, I think that was also, I don't think he realized the implications of what he was saying. I think he just said it because he's such a narcissistic weenie that he just can't help but complain. Oh, there are people who are trying to take me out. He's like, really? And I think he was like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. My take on it. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see.
Just
But I hope Gregory does go to Sanctuary because I want to see what happens when he gets there. Okay. Then
Oh my God, the sniveling. God, yeah.
my next, there's another example of clearing the air is with Sasha
Oh, yeah.
and Rosita. So
Yeah.
they are kind of at odds, and seeing that necklace that she made for Abraham on Sasha's neck really just pissed her off, Rosita. And Sasha's trying to get her to be friendly, but she's saying no, she doesn't want to have anything to do with that. So they're arguing about tactics and everything. So they're really against each other, and their walls are up. But then when Sasha says, they're lucky to have you, Rosita, because you know how to do everything, that's really when it softens. And then Rosita shows her how to make a knot, and it softens a little more. And then Rosita just lets the barrier down and lets us know that she knows all this stuff, how to disarm bombs, make knots, work on cars from ex-boyfriends in the zombie apocalypse.
Now, you asked an interesting question. Yeah, you asked an interesting question on Facebook. I liked it that you asked that.
I was wondering what she learned from Spencer, how to steal supplies and whine a lot. Yeah, we'll see. I was asking on Facebook in our Patreon group, did it bother the women at all that she learned all that stuff from boyfriends rather than learning it the way they did, just by learning it however. But when I asked that, I was under the impression that she learned all that stuff pre-apocalypse. And even then,
I was too. Actually,
it's fine.
I was enlightened with that as well.
Yeah, it's fine to learn, but it's interesting. I love it. It's a great plot development, but I actually think it's better that it happened after. And the way I figured out that it happened after is because when she said, and the sex was just for fun, I think everyone should get their rocks off after the end of the world or something. So it put all that stuff after. And then it's even more interesting that, she just suddenly found herself in this world where she didn't know how to defend herself. So she just learned from all these guys that she was dating, and she's a beautiful woman. And so that's totally cool. But anyways, with Sasha and Rosita, well, you had something you want to say about that?
No,
About
other
what I just
than the fact that I guess that explains also why Rosita was okay with Eugene watching her and Abraham going at it. She's probably like, well, everybody has to get their rocks off. I'm not touching him, but he can watch,
That's funny. Hey, who am I to judge? But then she said that she liked Abraham because he saw her for what he knew that she could handle her shit, and that was the first guy that was with her because of all that stuff that she could do. And she fell for him and never looked back. And she also said something about how when they got to Alexandria, Abraham turned out to be all good, but she couldn't quite be that way. And then after he left her for Sasha, she thought she hated Sasha, and I think she was realizing this just in the moment. Maybe she just hated it that she figured out his shit first. So I think that whole thing was her just, the whole point of clearing the air. When you finally just say some things sometimes to a person that have been unsaid, it can just be like a weight lifted off of you. And right after that, they're saying, no matter how this all goes down, I've got your back, I've got yours. So they're fully in support of one another. So it was just, I really like the arc of that whole thing where they started off hating each other, or at least Rosita hated her, and then how it ended up. I thought it was very nicely done.
I agree. I mean, I like I said, that's one part of this episode I really did enjoy. And as we've been talking through this, I'm like, there was a lot about this episode I did enjoy. So,
and then the very last one is just probably to a lesser extent, but Jesus and Maggie. There was a little bit of a moment between them where
that was great too.
Yeah, he tells her, that being at Hilltop is the first time he feels like he's belonged, and it wasn't even until Sasha and Maggie got there that he felt that way. And then he pretty much directly reveals to her that he's gay in a way that, it's clear that he's divulging something that he doesn't go around broadcasting. And she smiled at it, which was a very nice moment. And by the way, gay Jesus, I love Robert Kirkman for making a gay Jesus.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, that is... Look, Jesus is gay in the comics. I mean, this is canon as far as the character is concerned. And I know there are some people I've read online who got upset about it, and it's like, really? But that's ridiculous. I think it's wonderful that this is the character. He's still a fucking badass.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing. He's so badass. Cool. I mean, Jesus is an absolute badass ninja that everybody loves. And, look, sorry, ladies, those eyes are not looking at you. That's just the way it goes.
But Tom Payne's very hetero, so you might have a chance there. As far
Did
as
he make a point of that?
Actually, I don't know for sure, but I think he has a girlfriend. That? Yeah, he is. I think he said so. Anyway,
he is so beautiful.
So Jesus really also revealed that he grew up in a group home. Is that
I like really that a lot.
Specific thing? Like, is it an orphanage or?
Yeah, it's basically like an orphanage. I think that's exactly what he was saying.
But I wonder if it's not exactly what it seems, or if it's. I hope we get more information on that.
No, I think that's what I think. He's just an orphan.
Okay.
I don't. Are there really group homes anymore? I mean, I think of that. I think of Little Orphan Annie. I don't know if that really, or some Charles Dickens thing.
Right. I mean, I wondered if that was sort of a euphemism. I mean, I don't know. He's really interesting because he has all these skills, and he looks like Jesus. He's gay.
I don't want to get into the whole
what's up with this guy
blue-eyed Jesus thing. Come on, he's from Bethlehem. He's not doesn't have blue eyes.
But I really liked it. I liked that moment between them, and you could feel that he doesn't let himself get that close. He even said so. But that was a vulnerable moment. So those are there were a few examples in this episode of people just letting their barriers down with each other, and I thought it was beautiful.